You were listening to chartingwealth.com for Thursday, the 30th of November, 2017, the last day of November. Remember, Friday will mark the new month. What do we see going on? Everything down for the day. The S&P 500 barely down 0.05%. The Nasdaq 100 is represented by the Qs way down. The green candle for the weekly chart has slammed into a red candle, down 1.74%. Also, we see bonds not down quite as much, but down almost 1%, 0.98%, and gold down 0.63%. Just what's going on? Well, let's dive in. Oh, by the way, if you saw the news today, the Nasdaq 100 and three other exchanges are going to be offering derivatives in Bitcoin. And remember those great Bitcoin charts that we developed and shared with you in the training a few months ago? We're going to offer that training again soon. Just a warning, in order to get it, you have to be a subscriber. And subscriptions are still free at chartingwealth.com. Go there, put in your name, your email address. When it's available, we will make it available to our members only. So go ahead and sign up so that when we do, and it'll only be offered on one day, you're able to get it. Now, let's keep moving through these charts. The S&P 500, we still see on the weekly chart that it is a rather large green up candle as we roll through Wednesday. So we're 3 days into the 5-day weekly candle. Still a large green up candle, one of the largest in the last several weeks, maybe going back to the week ending the 20th of October, maybe the 13th of October. Again, a big candle so far. Derivative oscillators continuing to lose energy, but that price percent, our number one oscillator, continuing to move up. So we'll continue to watch where things are as we delve in a little deeper. We can see the 2-day candle, and again, this is the completion of the latest 2-day candle, a booming. We see a large wick on top of a green open box, just about as big as the green candle the wick is on top. And what we see is it booming well above the Bollinger Band. So in other words, volatility increased markedly. And that 2-day chart has, as we said might happen, we now have a 2-day, not a weekly, a 2-day vertical crossover going up. So what does that mean? Well, of course, now we have the 2-day and we have the weekly moving in the same up direction, which may give us some potential trades. What do we see going on right now? Well, the 4-hour chart's continuing to move up, but it looks like there was a strong up movement in the morning, bit of a rollback in the afternoon or a Heiken Ashi candlesticks. If we see a crossover going down, that is a pullback, and then things move back in the up direction, we may have a jumping in point. Isn't happening yet. We shall see. We may not have one. But if that does occur, then of course we'll look to jump in and ride that. It is really late in the game to jump on that pony. But again, if the charts tell us to do that, we're trend followers, right? We are not forecasters. Now, going to move back to the weekly chart and go to QQQ. Very curious what's happened from the prior day. We now have a red open box candle, large wick on top, little bit of a wick on the bottom. Price percent oscillator on the weekly chart now is heading down, and the derivative oscillator has lost a lot of energy. So what's happening with the Qs? Well, a big pullback is what we see, at least on the day, 1.74%. What do we see that's happened with the otherwise green candle? It has now turned into, the 2-day candle's now turned into a red, almost a spinning top, a long wick on the bottom, not quite as long on top, and a red, solid red spinning top, meaning lots of indecision. The 2-day chart's almost crossed over going down. Huge pullback. Now, we saw a red candle last on the 15th of November, the 2-day chart there, after a run-up, a little bit of a pullback on the 9th of October, and then a little bit of up movement on the 13th. That's a 2-day candle then, and then a pullback, and then followed by 4 2-day candles, 8 days of run-up. But this is quite an extreme pullback, If we delve into the 4-hour chart, we can see the bleeding. What happened? Well, of course, and we told you to continue to keep your eye on that 4-hour chart. What did we see happen? Well, we had that beautiful run up until the morning of Wednesday, the 29th, and then the bubble burst. Things popped strong down in the morning, actually really strong down, and then recovered somewhat. And then when the market opened around 2 o'clock, you had 155.61. And then, of course, things tracked on down from there. So hopefully those of you that were in, of course, you should always be checking twice a day if you're in any trade. You have seen, of course, the 4-hour chart crossover going down, the 2-day chart getting very, very close to it. Hasn't happened yet, and even the weekly chart headed down. Now, we'll see how long this goes on, if it's just going to be a bounce back and things recover, or if it's going to continue. What do you do when you're in a trade and you jumped in somewhere around the 154.98 mark, and all of a sudden things bound down in the morning all the way down to 154, recovers somewhat by the close at all the way down to 153.31 from 156.32 at the opening, and then somewhere around the opening in the afternoon, you see it at about 155.61. Well, you let the morning settle out, and then with those strong down moves, you want to try to pull the plug and salvage what you can. Strange things happen in the markets all the time, my friends. The thing to do is to deal with them like a trader, like a smart person who says, okay, something happened, the entire market got crushed. I'm not going to ride this pony down into disaster. If I have to take a short-term loss, or the gain that I thought I had went away, or most of it, and I want to jump out and at least break even or take a small loss, then you do it. And again, a candle's not a candle until it closes. And again, trying to catch a falling knife is going to always cut you. So you let that 4-hour candle close, then you make your decision upon the opening of the next around 2 p.m. Trading in the early morning hours, particularly that first hour, is almost always a mistake. And we want you to practice these things, because when you practice them, you use your trade worksheet, you keep up with it on your trade worksheet, and you write down all the things you experienced, from emotions to what to do, to what you did do, what you did that worked, what you did that didn't work. You're going to have that in your trader's diary, and that is going to be what you can go back to and rely on again and again and again. Like they say in medical parlance, if you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. And if you didn't write it down, you've probably not learned from it. That's why we provide all of our members, every time an email goes out, with the most updated version of the trade worksheet, the daily market worksheet, and the weekly market worksheet, and that's its value. Okay, keep moving along. I know we only ask for 10 minutes a day. What do we see going on TLT? Well, a bit of a pullback there also. Looks like we were getting close to a crossover going up. And what did I tell you? Don't count your birds, your little chicks, before they hatch. And it has pulled back into a red spinning top. So we'll continue to see what we see. We're still in a confirmed down move, of course, until the end of the week. Things could recover and the move up could continue. Hasn't happened yet on that weekly chart. In fact, it pulled back from what appeared to be a crossover. We told you that could happen. What do we see going on the 2-day chart? Well, this latest 2-day candle, red candle, long wick on the bottom, shorter wick on top, about the length of the candle body. So again, got some indecision going on there, trending down. Derivative oscillators losing energy, and that price percent oscillator is really cut over going down on that 2-day chart. Now, if it crosses over going down, what does that mean? Well, the weekly's already in a down move, so might have the ability to jump into a down trade. What do we see going on? 4-hour chart, huge down candle in the morning, bit of a recovery in the afternoon, punching through that 2-day trend line. So interesting things are afoot. Aren't you glad you didn't enter prematurely? An uptrade in TLT, you would have gotten crushed. Okay, lastly, we will go to gold. What's gold doing? Well, it's in a confirmed down move on the weekly chart. It's a confirmed up move on the 2-day chart. We see that the 2-day chart has gone flat, and the derivative oscillator is losing energy, and the latest 2-day candle is a red open box spinning top, means indecision tending down. So we are seeing weakening in gold, particularly on that 2-day chart. Now let's see what's going on that 4-hour chart again. The herky-jerkiness of it disturbs us, and the herky-jerkiness of the entire market, as some shudders have gone through it over the last day. Gold, which we had hoped would continue trending up after the crossover going up on the 4-hour chart for a few days, just rolled right back over. Remember, that 4-hour chart is going to get less predictable and less reliable as we get closer and closer to December the 15th through January the 15th. But the beautiful thing is, about 10 and a half to 11 months out of the year, it works time and time and time again. Did crossover going down. All things being equal, the market always tends to move in the direction of what? The largest chart, which is the weekly. And it has crossed back over, going down quite strongly. Folks, that's where we are as we end the week as we end the day on Wednesday, the 29th, trying to cut this week a little short on hump day. As we end the day on Wednesday, the 29th of November, we go into Thursday, the last day of the month, which what I was going to. And of course, Friday is going to be the first day of December. Thank you so much for being with us. We love to hear from you. You have questions, problems, concerns. All you got to do is email us cw@chartingwealth.com. Be sure to subscribe to Charting Wealth at chartingwealth.com. And also go to our YouTube account. Subscribe there also. Lots of great info. We appreciate you guys. We love to hear from you. All the best from the entire team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.